This video is part of a series which introduced a new advanced analysis capability for frequency domain response and fatigue. There are 8 videos, of which this is the 6th one. It's explaining how to install the product. As you can probably see, if you're looking carefully enough, I'm running this program on an Apple Macintosh. I'm using a Windows 7 virtual machine, so I've started up a virtual machine in the background. I'm going to go to a directory, like a temp directory, and place in that directory the installation package CAEfatigue _vibration.exe. This should have been provided to you along with a license file as part of the installation, as part of the install process. So we're going to go to this exe and double click it to extract a number of install files that we'll have in that package. So I'm going to extract the files into that temp directory. This should create a setup icon, which I'm going to double click to install the program. So I'm going to go to setup.exe, double click it. It'll ask me if I want to install the C++ 2012 redistribution package. Whether I have it or not, I'm going to go ahead and say yes to that. Obviously say yes to any warnings that come up, and it should start to install. Now, if you already have this installed, it may give an error message. No matter what it does, if it gives you an error message, just say yes and continue with the installation. It should then go through and install the software. It'll install the software, it'll install a number of test problem libraries. So this is asking us whether we want to install the software. Say yes. I'm going to type next. I'm going to accept the license agreements and type next. I'm going to accept the name for the customer information, and I'm going to let it go ahead and put the install into C program files x86 CAEfatigue. So everything's ready, so I'm going to go ahead and press install, and it will install the software. It shouldn't take more than a few seconds or maybe a couple of minutes to install, and that's a script saying we've installed and it's been successful. So now I'm going to go to the location of the installation, which was C, program files x86, and then CAEfatigue. So this is where we have everything installed. There is the program itself. There is some user documentation, which will include, in the final install, will include quick reference guide, user manual, and another number of other documents. And then we have a test problem library. I'm going to suggest that you move this test problem library because you'll have trouble running it in that program files directory. So I'm going to copy it and move it to the base directory C. But you can put this anywhere you want as long as you have permission to run it. So I've copied the test program library there, and I'm now going to go ahead and just check that the install worked. So included with this installation are a number of test problems as shown. Each of these is defined by a control file. We see here a number of control files with the extension txt. I'm going to open up one of these control files and take a quick look. So I'm going to open up 2_kn_all, etc. And here we see a control file to run a particular frequency-based fatigue calculation. I'm not going to go through the detail of this file. I'm just going to point out a couple of items here. First of all, there is an entry here in the 6th column of the VIBFAT entry, which says naught. That's what we call the log level entry. We've set it to naught, which means we have minimal output in the log file. I'm going to point out another item here. CSV plus FEF is the entry in the 3rd column of that same entry, and that's specifying that we want a CSV file output and we want patron neutral files, FEF files, to be written. The last thing I'm going to point out here is that we've put 1 for column 3 on the VFTG sequence card, and that specifies that we want all events to be output to the output file. Although in this particular case there is only one event, so it doesn't make much difference. So in order to run this program, I'll point out one last thing. The materials are specified using an include materials here. I can go and show you that include in a minute. And the loading is provided through an include loading 500_psd load.txt. The stresses come from an op2 file, which is in a subdirectory op2 files, and it's called knrandom.op2. So clearly those need to be there. And we see we have those three subdirectories. We have materials with a bunch of materials specified here. We have loading with various PSDs specified. And we have the op2 files in the op2 file directory. So in order to run this control file, we need a command prompt. You're provided with one in the directory here. Double click on the command prompt. It will open up a command script, and from that we can type CAEfatigue space and 2 and tab should pick up the name of that file. When I press return, it will run the program. We are scanning through all the frequencies in this file and outputting the results. So there we are, we're finished. So if I now go back to my directory, and if I sort based on date, I should see all the files I've just created. So I've created a set of results files in FEF format, and I've created a CSV file here, which can be opened with Excel. If I just open that up now, I've got an Excel file with all the results included. And the FEF files can be imported into Patron. I won't do that now, that will be the subject of another video. If you want to find out more about this product, please go to our website, CAEfatigue.com, where you will find up-to-date information on the product. It is also available from these three companies. So you'll see a company in the US, a company in the UK, and a new reseller we've just signed up, Desktop Engineering, that are covering EMEA. Thank you very much.